So what is Bealtainne? There are songs and chants, dances and stories, fires and drums, sunrises and sunsets. Bealtainne is a day spent hand in hand, heart to heart, celebrating the wild abundance of the earth. But also, Bealtainne is a celebration of potential. Fertility and abundance are carefully nurtured. The herds are prepared for the summer pastures where their only job is to grow fluffy and fat. All the crops and tasks started earlier in the year are carefully nurtured to reach their potential during the growing season. And the people, well, let's just say there's a lot of January babies. Some say this is all done out of necessity. And I won't argue much, since winter can be cold and long, and all of the work done during the spring, summer, and fall is required for survival. So what is Bealtainne? It's a day of love, and all the ways we manifest this most precious of the gifts of the gods. So join me in the meditation of the heart. Set your feet, relax your shoulders, be comfortable in your space. Take a breath and feel the good earth below you and the radiant stars above. Take a breath and feel the warmth and support of the people who travel this path with you. Take a breath and be here, be connected, be present. Close your eyes. You see the night sky, stars strewn like gems by a careless hand, and a brilliant full moon that washes the world in silver. The wind carries hints of incense and resinous trees, each breath you take becoming a balm against whatever stress you carried into this place. Beneath your bare feet is soft sand. Your robes are of silk and move slightly with the breeze. Night song builds and ebbs, proof that life continues after the sun goes down. Around you is the vastness of the desert, cool and serene. You are alone, but at peace in this open and starry night. In the east, you see a spot of gold in the silver. Curious, you move in that direction, your steps whispering in the fine and faintly warm sand. The gold light that drew you grows brighter as you travel. In the heart of the gold light, you start to make out the shape of a being with great wings folded at rest behind them. Features and details reveal themselves by degree. A pair of eyes of indeterminate color, but full of gentle strength and deep wisdom. A face scored smooth by wind and time, serene in curve and angle. Robes made out of a shifting brightness, their color undefinable, and a cloud of white hair held back by a circlet marked by an unfamiliar symbol that the secret part of you understands means love. As you grow near, you see the being smile and hold out their hands in welcome. What is love, beloved? The being asks, their voice multi-layered and harmonic. Before you can answer, the being shakes their head and continues, perhaps it is better to speak of what love is not. Love is not an absolute. It cannot be found or lost, bought or sold. Love is not a commodity. It cannot be hoarded or stolen. Love is not a tyrant. It cannot command or banish. The being looks up at the night sky, letting the moon trace silver highlights across their golden face. How does one think about love, beloved? They ask, then grin, continuing, one doesn't. Instead, they think of that which defines the love. The person, the place, the memory, the experience. Love does not exist in a vacuum, but must have a focus, a definition, an object. The being looks back to you and places their hands over their heart. Light gathers there like drops of the sun. Then the being places the light-bound hands over your own heart. There is a flush of warmth, a spark of joy, and you feel your thinking, your perceptions, your very soul illuminated in golden radiance. You think of all the definitions of love that reside within you. There are so many. Large and small, fleeting and profound, celebratory and sad, tender and maddening. With a laugh that feels like a sunrise, the being lifts one palm to the sky and drops the other palm towards the ground and begins to spin. Their wings flare out behind them, turning into a skirt that billows outward as they spin faster and faster in a dance both sacred and ancient. "Come, beloved, come dance for love with me," they say, and you feel yourself moving, your arms and legs arranging themselves almost of their own accord. As you dance, you find your thoughts pulled inward, towards a kernel of wisdom bound tight by past experiences, preconceptions, and social expectations. Bathed in the brilliance from the winged being and from your own rising ecstasy, the kernel of wisdom slowly opens until you understand. "Yes, beloved," the being sings, their voice swirling like a caress through you. "Yes, all love is love." And in that transcendent moment, there is only you, between heaven and earth, dancing, dancing, dancing. You slowly return to yourself in that nighttime desert. The being is gone, leaving behind hints of the dust dervish and a faint golden glow that seeps into the silver. In the breeze that tickles your cheek, you hear the being's voice one last time. A final piece of wisdom, a gift to take on your journey. As the last echoes of the being's parting gift fade to nothing, you look around. To the north, you see a star that shines brighter than the others. It is nestled between the silhouettes of two mountains, like a gem adorning the throat of a goddess. Curious, you turn and start walking. The cool desert night wraps around you like a cloak, and the glittering sky above wheels slowly in its internal dance. Your steps are light, swift, and graceful, filled with the golden light that courses through you. You are alone, but at peace in this vast and open space. The silhouette of the mountains loom large as you continue to walk, yet the star that guides your way shines still, seeming to move with the shifting horizon. As you continue, the land beneath your feet changes from soft sand to packed dirt, smooth beneath your bare feet. Through the wind dances a ribbon of air made crisp by the towering mountains above. After a time, the ground changes again from packed dirt to stone, worn easy by the passing of countless feet. Soon the path grows steep, winding ever upwards. The air thins and the silk of your robe that was once so comfortable in the desert night does nothing to stop the sharper bite of the wind. And just when you feel that first twinge of doubt about your path, you see an inviting encampment nestled amongst the stones. There is a small fire snapping merrily, soft cushions to rest upon, and bread and wine warming by the fire. "Come, beloved, come rest and refresh yourself," you hear. The voice is deep and rich and rumbling, though you cannot see the speaker hidden by an outcropping of rock. You take the last few steps to the encampment and see across the fire a being that had spoken. Antlers crown their forehead made of evergreen branches, tipped with deep green needles. Hanging from the branches is a pendant with the same secret symbol that you saw before. Their eyes are twin shining obsidian spheres, crinkled by a smile. The being motions, and you see and hear that their cloak faintly flutters like an aspen tree. They are large and strong-looking, with a solidity in their shape that seems one with the mountain that they rest upon. Suddenly you feel tired and heavy. The cushions look so inviting, the fire so soothing. You can smell the earthy bread and the fragrant wine, making your mouth water. You settle yourself, marveling at how comfortable the cushions are, how the fire is just the perfect temperature to chase away the chill, without being too warm. The being hands you the bread and wine, motioning you to partake. You throw a piece of bread and tip a sip of the wine into the fire. The being smiles and nods. You take a bite of bread. It is warm and flavorful, soft yet dense. When you swallow, you feel the goodness of the food radiate through your body. The wine is opulent with flavor, velvety and effortless. Each sip sends waves of warmth flowing through you. The wind that had been biting at you before now just nips playfully. The being folds their arms and nods in satisfaction, seeing you refreshed. And in the comfortable silence they ask, "What is love, beloved?" The being holds up a finger, then continues, "Instead, perhaps it is better to ask, how do you recognize love? Love is not tangible. You cannot shape it with your hands, or hear it with your ears, or see it with your eyes. Love has no scent, no weight, no tone, no color." You hear again the rustle of their cloak as the being looks up at the moon shining overhead. But we all know the difference between words said in love and in anger, don't we? They look back at you and smile. We can sense when someone touches us with love, or see when someone acts with love. And even time seems to move differently when saturated with love. With a sound like trees knocking together in the wind, the being stands. They are good half again taller than you, wide of shoulder and chest, with a comforting density. You feel protected in their presence. They open their arms to you, their cloaks shimmering and whispering secrets that you can't quite understand. You stand as well and step into their embrace. As you wrap your arms around their waist, the being says, "How do you sense love, beloved?" You're engulfed in a rich and gentle darkness, and they say, "You don't. Not directly. Love needs a vehicle, a word or a touch or a moment." The night's natural music fades, and in the growing silence you hear a singular beat. Thump thump, thump thump, thump thump. As you sink further into the darkness, the heartbeat grows until you feel it with your whole body, down to your bones. You feel yourself drifting, cradled, and perfectly saved in this primordial embrace. Thump thump, thump thump, thump thump. Within this rhythm, you think of all the ways you have expressed love to yourself and others. Simple and profound, quiet and dazzling, difficult and effortless. You drift deeper into yourself, towards a kernel of wisdom bound tight by past experiences, preconceptions, and social expectations. Cradled by the heartbeat and protected by your blissful peace, the kernel unfurls until you understand. Yes, beloved, you hear the being sing through the dark. Yes, all acts of love are sacrament. And in that imminent instant, there is only you, held by the mother of all, floating, cradled, and loved. The desert night slowly blooms around you once again. You find yourself back where you started your journey. The being is gone, leaving behind a chill breath of wind and a faint rustle of leaves. You hear the being's voice one last time, a final piece of wisdom, a gift to take on your journey. As the last echoes of the being's parting gift rumble through you, you look around. To the west, you see palm trees frosted by the light of the full silver moon, and the air holds just the first hint of water. Curious, you turn and walk in that direction. Your steps are even and sturdy. Any hint of fatigue from your climb up the mountain is gone. In its place is a serene and enduring strength. While you walk, you marvel at how every sense is heightened. The stars are glittering, pulsing points of light in a silver-washed sky. The night song around you is layered and filled with harmonies. The fine sand feels decadent beneath your feet. You walk for the joy of it, your destination becoming, for the moment, a secondary gift. The scent of water slowly saturates the air as you continue. You breathe it in gladly, tasting rich loam, vibrant and healthy greenery, and the crystalline purity of the oasis. You can feel the desire for your presence thrum along your nerves, drawing you closer. You continue. There is a path that leads you through the grove of palm trees to the oasis proper. Once past the palm sentinels, you see a small lake, round and clear. The water is so quiet that you can see the moon, who reigns as queen of the night sky, mirrored in the middle. You look around and find the path curves to the right around the lake. Within you rises a sense of expectation, and the night song around you fades nearly to silence, like a held breath. You take a step and the night blooms around you once again, full of beauty and wonder. You walk slowly, carefully, each foot placed with care. Moment by moment, step by step, you sink deeper into yourself, finding the light from the winged being and the strength of the mountain still within you. Thoughts of your journey so far rise and float away, one by one, until you're left with a core of still anticipation. And that is when you see them, a being standing before you robed in fresh and flawless white, a cowl pulled low enough to cover their eyes. Around their neck rests a silver chain and pendant, shaped in the now familiar secret symbol of love. They stand at the beginning and the end of your transit around the lake, waiting. As you walk closer, the being lifts their right hand and traces a circle in the air before them. When the circle is complete, a chalice appears in their hands, silver, graceful, luminous, and floating in the center of the chalice is a single, perfect rose. What is love, beloved? They ask the now familiar question with a voice polished to a high shine, hiding hidden in shifting depths below. They lift their gaze and you can see their eyes swirling and shifting like the tides. Tears of joy trace their flawless cheeks and you feel seen. No, what I mean is, how do you feel love? They raise the chalice and breathe in the deep scent of the rose. The truth is, you do not. Love always leads to something else. There's love that makes you feel calm and safe. There's love that makes you excited and hopeful. And even love that makes you feel careless and defensive. And even love that makes you reckless and protective. As they finish speaking, the being holds the chalice out to you, the air suddenly filled with the heady and glorious aroma of rose. You cannot help the deep breath you take, filling every part of you. The being smiles and lifts the rose out of the chalice, holding it out to you. The rose glows a pure crimson and slowly vanishes, and you feel something within you expand, a space waiting to be filled. How do you feel love, beloved? The being asks, then holds the chalice out to you. You take the cool silver between your hands and the being continues. But that is the trick. Feeling love always comes with an and, doesn't it? And joyous, and terrified, and grieving. The emotion for you to drink. You lift the chalice to your lips and take a first sip. The water is the clearest, sweetest, most refreshing you have ever tasted. It sparkles on your tongue, cools your throat, and seems to trace every line of you in silver. You feel so good drinking, swallow after swallow, the chalice never growing empty. Every time you feel like you are reaching your limit, something within you shifts and you continue. And still you partake. Each pulse of water is exhilarating as the first. A parade of emotions rise and flow through you, sweet and bitter, gentle and thunderous, and you understand how each is connected to love. You drift deeper into yourself, towards a kernel of wisdom bound tight by past experiences, preconceptions, and social expectations. Washed pure by the water flowing through you, the kernel unfurls until you understand. Yes, beloved. Oh, yes. You hear the being say, the more you love, the more you can love. And in that sublime moment, there is only you, the chalice, and the water that flows through every moment of you. And then you are returned to yourself. The lake and moon, the stars and the sweet night return to focus. The chalice is gone, yet the being in white remains before you. They lean forward and place a kiss gently upon your lips, then whisper in your ear a final wisdom, a gift to take on your journey. As the last whisper of the being's voice ebbs through you, you look around. You are back in the desert. The oasis vanished like a mirage. The constellations above you have shifted their shapes as time has flowed. To the south, you feel a faint warmth. You hold out your hand and feel them clasped in a warm and gentle grip. You feel a tug leading you south, and you begin walking. Your steps flow over the sand, serene and constant. You still feel that core of anticipation within you, but it is larger now, a sacred reservoir that is yours to draw upon whenever you can, want, or need. The desert night stretches before you, and you continue. You see the fire long before you reach it. It is giant, roaring and triumphant. Great flames and sheets of sparks get thrown into the sky. As you grow closer, you begin to see flickers and shadows of beings dancing around the fire in eternal celebration and worship. Desire to be among their number grips you fiercely, and you hasten your steps. Heat bathes you head to toe, and the air holds layers of incense, the smoke of sacred woods, and the fragrance of the desert under the sun. You can see the dancers no clearer than before, but there is a being before you, backlit by the fire. The only detail you can see are their eyes, fiery and changing moment by moment. They hold their hands out to you, so you step forward and take them. Their fingers end in sharp claws, and you can just see the glint of fangs in their smile. Now you can see that they are topless, with just a sarong around their hips. Sweat glistens upon their perfect skin, and over their heart is a tattoo of the symbol that you have seen 3 other times before, the symbol of love. Ah, at last, beloved. What is love? They speak with a voice sharp and fierce, hot and feral. Love has no material value. It is not tangible, has no definition. The being releases one hand and touches the tip of the claw to the symbol over their heart. Drops of blood appear, brilliant and mesmerizing. And yet, it is a force that changes the fates of nations, the course of history, and the lives of every being that has ever walked upon this earth. They collect the drops of blood on the tip of their claw and touch your solar plexus. The bead of crimson melts into you, suffusing you with warmth. You see heat haze rising from your skin, and the being grins. You could say that love is transformation. We certainly transform or are transformed by love, but I do not think that is quite right. Everything transforms. Every moment is transformed into something else. There is nothing that is truly static. As the being speaks, they draw you closer to the fire. The heat should be more intense than you can handle, yet you are comfortable. The heat haze around you grows brighter. You could say that love is potential, but all things have potential, from the first seedling to the dying oak. Potential and transformation are twins that race before us as we move through our lives. Closer and closer you are drawn, the being never taking their luminous eyes from you. Over the roar of the fire, you begin to hear the pounding of drums. The sound sizzles through your veins, making you want to dance. The being grins and steps into the fire. You see them through the flames, flickering in and out of focus. You see them wreathed in jewel-toned wonder, bright gold, scintillating reds and oranges, profound blues and purples, exquisite green and a white, so pure it is hard to take in. Over the roar of the drums and the fire, you hear them speak. What is love, beloved? They pull your hand, insistent, and you cannot resist. You step into the fire and become everything. You dance with wild abandon, moving through the flames without fear. The drums fill the hollow of your bones, and each moment snaps with the same hungry intensity of the fire. You drift deeper into yourself, towards a kernel of wisdom bound tight by past experiences, preconceptions, and social expectations. Illuminated by this heart fire and your own rising excitement, the kernel unfurls until you understand. Yes! Yes! 1,000 times yes, beloved, the being exclaims, their voice sounding just outside your ear, though they are nowhere to be seen. Love is a choice. And in that incandescent moment, there is only you, the fire, and the thunder of this primordial vision. You're not sure when the fire fades and the drums beat their last. You come slowly to yourself, the desert sand hot beneath your feet. The being stands before you, breathing deeply of the sweet night air. Finally, you stop moving and the being walks around you, slowly, contemplating. After their third revolution, they stop before you and nod in satisfaction. A great smile brightens everything about them, and they lean in to whisper into your ear a final piece of wisdom, a gift for the night. As the last of the being's words crackle through you, you wonder that you're not breathing heavily, not taxed by the energy you sustained while dancing. Instead, you feel a profound sweetness, a guiding strength, and a tranquil reserve of joy within you. You look around, and in the east you see the first hints of sunrise, and the moon slowly descending into the west. The night is drawing to a close, and you know it is time to return. You pause for a last few moments to thank the beings who guided and provided for you this night. Then you close your eyes. Take a breath and remember the ones who travel with you, their warmth and support. Take a breath and remember the good earth below you and the radiant stars above. Take a breath and return here, connected and present. Flex your feet, roll your shoulders, return to your physical space. When you're ready, open your eyes. Blessed be.